We're going to check in now with the spokesperson for the Mongale family, Dr. Griselda Kananda. Griselda, thank you for being with us today. I know that it's tough, and every time there are more details, and as this story continues to draw public reaction, it must be incredibly difficult for the family. So accept our condolences. And perhaps if you can, as an opener, just share with us where they are this morning.
Thank you very much, Iman. I don't think there are best words to describe what the family is going through right now. We are still awaiting the body to be released. The police are still doing their investigations so that we can travel with the body to Bloemfontein. And as you heard, that she was born in Bloemfontein, born and bred in Bloemfontein. She came to Johannesburg for education, and not knowing that as a young person meeting a potential suitor would lead her to this that we're in right now.
And you would have seen over the last few days, again, young women or women in general being urged to do this or that to safeguard themselves, to behave, dress, send alerts. I mean, you can do whatever is possible within your power to do, but you know, again, the focus seems to be misdirected on women's conduct and what women need to do, rather than focusing on the terrible and murderous behavior of men in our society. Do you have a comment on that?
That's exactly what our concern is as a family, that most of the comments are even asking, why would you go into a stranger's car? I mean, you tell me, when you date a person for the first time, do you date a person that you've known for a long time? Because you begin as strangers, and being strangers then lead to a relationship of sort. And we appeal to especially women to not form opinions that are based on blaming the victim. I don't understand what is us with society where it's so easy for us to just direct and divert our emotions. Yes, we are hurting, but to victim blame is not solving the challenge that we are currently facing. As a family, we do believe that whether we want to call it a scourge or not, there is a problem in our society, and a problem that requires all of us to be involved. And we are so grateful to the community of Lombardy, who were so vigilant that they took it upon themselves, upon recognizing and noticing that there is a strange pattern of bodies being dumped in a veld that is close to the households. They decided to contribute money and cordon off that space and close it, that there's no longer access into that bush. And we calling on society to be that vigilant, identify things that enable this further perpetration of violence against women. And I'm glad that we're not just calling it just GBV, but it is violence and gruesome violence against women specifically. It has to end, and all of us have to identify, what is it that I can do, what is it that I can contribute to put a stop to this. Because to us as a family, you've taken the light of the family, a person who loved life so much, who was so joyful. Olorato was so focused as a young person. As you heard from the department, that in her early 20s, she was already employed. Instead of focusing on expensive jewelry and bags that most of her peers would, she invested in property. She bought her first property at 23. She had a car. She was on her way to a second degree and a diploma. Very focused, and has traveled the world. When she turned 30, she decided that she was just going to book herself a ticket and just explore the world. And that's the type of young person who was not, I mean, when you see some of the comments talking about slave queens loving foreigners and wanting nice life, Olorato had created a nice life for herself. And it also contributes the fact that she comes from a family of loving people. Her mother, I still don't know how she manages to wake up every day, because no parent no parent should ever be exposed to seeing their child like that. Newzroom Mongale loved her daughter fully, and her father, Don, was fully present, and they can never sit back and blame themselves that maybe there's something that they could have done. They did everything to teach this child how to love, and unfortunately, the environment in which she lived in did not reciprocate that love.
Griselda, as you're sharing, this is a grand theft, not just of a single life, but all of her dreams, all of her aspirations, the impact on her family who have raised her in the way that they had raised her. The loss, again, as you're sharing with us, just sounds so deep. Bearing in mind also what you've just said around there being some information shared by the local community of this particular piece of this particular stretch of land, this not being the first time something like this has happened. Can you share with us what the conversations might have been with police in their investigation and information gathering? We've heard the word serial killer being bandied about. Of course, everyone's got their theories and everyone's a sleuth and an investigator now. But what credible information can you share with us has been shared with the police in terms of leads they're tracking down and the possibility of apprehending this person?
And I'm sure you'd appreciate, Iman, that some of the information, it will be difficult for us to disclose everything because we do want a successful investigation. We do want the perpetrator apprehended and hopefully behind bars sooner than later. So some of the details, the police are cautiously sharing through their spokesperson and not disclosing everything. But what we know is that a family in Lombardy, a young person just saw this car pushing out this body. They started just driving up and down in that Polo. I'm sure they were just looking for an opportunity to get to the veld. And when they realized that they're not getting to the veld, and I'm sure by then the poster was circulating, because when we were alerted that she's no longer responding on her phone and her phone has been found abandoned, we then issued a poster that this might be a case of abduction, or I mean, any family would hope that a positive situation would happen, and unfortunately where we are now. But we are so grateful that in that family the mother came out and realized that the state in which the body was in, and covered her as a responsible citizen. And they then alerted a community group, because apparently Lombardy citizens are tired of these gruesome murders and shocking experiences, that they have formed a community activist group. And they shared in that group, they took pictures of her body, shared in that group. Unfortunately, a public platform, you can't control what people do with the information. Her body was shared in order for the group to alert community authorities and alert the police. And that's how, unfortunately, her body now ends up being circulated in media. And we also humbly request that just think before you act on social media. When you share her lifeless body, I mean, if it were your daughter, your relative, how would that feel? And we appeal that this is such a gaping wound for us. Please exercise caution as you share, and some of the false stories, the false narratives, and that she just decided to just go into a stranger's car, and that she was found in a body bag, and all these are just false narratives. That please just make sure that you look at the statements that we have issued, look at the statements that have issued by the police, that especially in the world of podcasts, that when you begin to put together your pieces, make sure that they are factual and not sensationalized, please.
Griselda, and of course it runs the risk of, again, re-traumatizing the family. Just before I let you go, and with full appreciation for the fact that police are keeping their cards close to their chest, have they been able to, as you say, they've retrieved her cell phone, have they been able to unlock it?
What they've done now, they've decided not to share any more information because in the fear that it might alert I don't know whether it's his real name, that John character, and you might be aware where the police are now in the investigation. So from now on, they've asked us to just allow them to share as and when they crack the case. At this stage, we are once again so grateful to the investigating officer, who's just a detective that is so communicating with the family. I've never experienced police service that is just so in touch with what the family is going through. Very sensitive in how they share information and constantly updating us that this is where we are now, and we have it under good authority that we're almost there. He will be brought to justice, and he will be brought to book. Justice will be served for Olorato.